All right, y'all. I'm gonna get into it real quickly here. Well, actually, it's not gonna be very quickly. It's gonna take a minute to get through this video. Now, as we've all been made aware that Deontay Wilder will make his in-ring return on February 25th of next year, which is about a couple months away. It'll be in Birmingham, Alabama, where he's from. He'll be defending his WBC title for the fifth time, and it's against Andrejz Wawrzyk of Poland. Okay. Now, mind you, this is Deontay Wilder's fifth defense of his voluntary defense of his title. He's yet to defend it against a mandatory. Now, we all know that mandatory was supposed to be Alexander Povetkin. And, of course, Povetkin got caught up with some controversial issues and him failing two different drug tests on two separate occasions within one calendar year. That's not Deontay Wilder's fault. He can't be held accountable for that. And, of course, he cannot control that situation. However, the one thing that Deontay Wilder can do, the next best thing he can do, is fight someone who's much more who's a top tier world level opponent. Okay. Now after the Povetkin situation, he decided to not he, the WBC canceled his sanctioned bout with him and Povetkin, so he was granted a defense against another voluntary, and that happened to be Chris Arreola. Now, mind you, this Chris Arreola was coming off of suspension for violating the drug policy. Okay, yeah, some people felt he got a gift decision over Travis Kaufman and whatnot, but anyhow, this Arreola, yeah, he's a name and all, but he was definitely not a great fighter. Ariel way, way, way over the hill and is totally shot. Okay, he's been knocked out many times whatsoever, and I felt that I gave Deontay a little criticism for that, because he stated that at one point that there was no one else left to fight, which no one else would want to take a fight with me on a short day, on a short notice, which I do have to disagree with. So he definitely needs to step it up. He's already approaching 37 pro fights now. So that you only fought one top tier, one level opponent. That's Bermane Stiverne. Okay, but let's all fairness though. Arthur Szpilka is a decent top 15 heavyweight. Duhaupas is a decent heavyweight, even though he got knocked out by Povetkin. Well, let me take that back. I will not. I would say that I will not recognize that knockout win for Povetkin. Okay, I'm sorry, cannot recognize it at all. Other than that, Eric Molina. Okay, I mean Molina was coming off a decent win after the Wilder fight against Thomas Adamek, but other than that, some would argue that Adamek was over the hill, but Adamek was winning the fight before Molina knocked him out in the last round of the fight. So anyhow, if you look at the WBC rankings, and obviously I'll post a link to the description box so you guys can take a look at it, and I'm sure some of you guys or most of you have seen the latest rankings that's been pulled out by the WBC. You have guys like Luis Ortiz, Dillian White, Bermane Stiverne, Gerald Washington, Carlos Takam. I can go on and on and on. Okay, those guys are more worth, or Kubrat Pulev. Those guys are more worthy of a shot at Deontay Wilder. I guarantee you that either one of those guys. I'm sorry. I guarantee you that either one of those guys would take the shot at Deontay Wilder, except for Kubrat Pulev, because he has been pulling out of major profile fights as of late. He's been getting little soft touches here and here. So, but other than that, yeah, it's just, to me, Deontay just needs to really step it up. And I heard Dreamchasing's video about this. He's saying, he made a case, which is a good case. I'm not gonna argue to his point, to only to an extent, though I would have to beg differ on this argument that he is coming off a serious injury. It wouldn't be wise to rush him in here against a world class opponent at this time. We have to see how well his hand holds up against a soft touch like Andrejz Wawrzyk, whatnot. I mean, it is a bit of a fair point to be made. However, like I said, I do have to beg to differ on that a little bit, because if you look at history, there have been fighters that have sustained serious injuries and they've came back and went into a big high profile fight. For example, we have Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield, not Evander Holyfield, I'm sorry. Before Evander Holyfield, you have Muhammad Ali. Okay, Muhammad Ali suffered a broken jaw against Ken Norton in their first fight of their trilogy. Okay, back in 1973. In that very year, and Norton won that fight. Okay, in that very year, after that first fight, Ali came back and fought Norton in an immediate rematch. He didn't take any tune-ups. He didn't get any soft touches, whatever. Whatever. He went into the immediate rematch with Norton and beat him. Okay, which was a close fight. Some argue that Norton won it, but it is what it is. Ali won the fight. It is what it is. Okay. Then you have guys like Sugar Ray Leonard. Now, Sugar Ray Leonard had retired the first time due to a detached retina, which is a serious injury. Okay. He was out of the ring for at least 2 years, and back in '82, I believe that's when he retired. He came back in '84. He wanted to get a little soft touch up against Kevin Howard, okay, because he's been out of the ring for 2 years. Of course, he didn't really perform to the caliber that he would do in his prime days as a welterweight. Well, actually, as the early days as a welterweight, he retired again, and some of that had to do to his issues with his eyes, with his retina, okay. 3 years later, he comes out of retirement, jumps up 2 weight classes, and fights Marvin Hagler. All right? Many people regard Hagler was rated the best fighter in the world at that time, right next to Mike Tyson. Okay? Now, Ray Leonard still had issues with his retina going into that fight. Now, many of his handlers felt that it was unwise for him to take a fight like that, especially being out of the ring for 3 years, and you're jumping up 2 weight classes to fight a man who's bigger and stronger than him. Now, I would argue that Marvin Hagler wasn't at his best at the time. He wasn't at his very, very, very best, and he was still a dangerous foe to Leonard. Yes, Leonard squeaked out the win. I do give him credit for that win, whatnot, but he did. But my point is that he came off. He had a serious injury. He went into a very big fight against many regarded as the best fighter in the world at that time, Marvin Hagler. Okay, so Leonard did that. Evander Holyfield had a serious cardiac condition. Okay, after the Michael Moore fight, the first Michael Moore fight, when he lost his titles to Moore. He retired subsequently. Okay, he had a 1-year layoff. He came back, and a lot of people were advising against Evander not to continue his career after having a serious heart condition. Okay. But who did he fight in his comeback fight? He fought Ray Mercer. All right. This is a Ray Mercer who viciously knocked out Tommy Morrison. Okay. Coldly knocked him out. And this is a Ray Mercer who was avoided by many heavyweights, including Riddick Bowe. Okay. Many people felt that Evander should not have taken that fight if he was going to come back. They felt that he should have took a soft touch. But he went in there, fought his heart out against, in a very, very tough, difficult fight against Ray Mercer. He won it. And then his very next fight, he fought Riddick Bowe in the rematch. The third fight, ain't that something? So my point is this, and I know this is not, to Dream Chaser, man, you do make a good point, but at the same time, it has been situations where fighters have come off serious injuries and then go into big fights against world-class opponents. That's the bottom line. It doesn't have to be the best world-class opponent. It could be at least a world-class opponent who's in the top 10 level. And Wilder could do that, but just for some reason he just opted not to do it. So it's just that I think he would have gotten leeway if he had fought top 10 opponents early in his career, like Joseph Parker or Anthony Joshua per se. Because if you think about it, Joshua and Parker have a one-up on Wilder. Parker beat 2 top 10 world-class opponents, with fewer than 20 pro fights, and he's already a world champion. Andy Ruiz and Carlos Takam. Anthony Joshua, he beat Charles Martin. Yeah, you can say what you want about Charles Martin. He wasn't, he's not like the best fighter on the world-class level, but he was a champion. He was rated in the top 10. Anthony Joshua knocked him out and beat him. Okay? He also beat Dillian White. Took his undefeated record. All right? Now, Anthony Joshua is in there going up against Vladimir Klitschko when he's an underdog, and if he does win that fight, he'll have to fight Luis Ortiz next. So what does that tell you? All I gotta say is that, I'm not happy with this fight. I hope that Deontay steps up after this. Oh, that's all I gotta say. I'm out.